Good morning. Welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. It is September 30th. And Jerry wants to say, God, it's been a heck of a month. So he thought, maybe a moment of cat snuggles would be a good thing. And let's get on with it, shall we? Down you go, bud. Okay, be good. And you're not going outside. Okay. So, wow. Wow. When we kept saying September's going to be interesting, I don't think any of us could have imagined it would be quite this interesting. So, okay, so we've had the whole impeachment thing that has started. We have had the pushback from Trump. We have had his idiot people on the talk show screaming about Hillary Clinton because I guess they got nothing better to talk about, like the fact that their president is a corrupt piece of shit. So keeping, of course, my personal opinions completely out of this. So what I thought I would do today is one of those quick, let's check in on a few different situations and just get a bit of an overview and see if we can get a bit of a handle on where certain situations are and what we can anticipate in the days and weeks and possibly even months to come. So energetically, when I try to do an overview of the month of October, what I get is like a tornado, okay, just constantly swirling energy. And part of what a tornado does is it sort of tears down that which isn't stable. And so that's exactly what we see going on now, is the tearing down of the Trump presidency and the people surrounding Trump that are not on stable ground, that never were on stable ground, that were taking, unnecessary advantage of power, that they should never have been taken unnecessary advantage of. That's not what those oaths they take actually mean. So the first one I'm going to check in first with the Democrats because I think they'll probably be the least crazy to read. Okay, so I want to take a look at how the Democrats are doing, kind of what their strategy is, what their thinking is. So that would be my question. How are the Democrats doing and what are they doing? Come on down. Okay, so Democrats going forward, Democrats in October. Okay, so really clearly, at the moment, the Democrats are sort of casting a bit of a net. They're not trying to catch everything in the ocean. They're just trying to catch, a couple of sharks. So they're currently in the process of sort of just branching out a little bit and starting to pull in the people and the pieces that they need to be able to move forward in a way that is insightful, that is logical, and frankly, that holds the attention of the American public so that they don't lose momentum. Now, they learned a really, really valuable lesson when the Mueller report came out about what happens when you stay quiet because what they're saying isn't true. And so you just sort of don't rise to the occasion of dignifying it with an answer. Well, the Democrats have figured out sometimes they got to jump up and down and scream the answer, never mind, dignify it. Okay. So that's going on. You're going to see more aggressive posturing from them. You're going to see that movement forward, and they're going to continue to create a really strong coalition. they are determined. These three cards tell the whole story. They're focused on Trump. They're focused on dark money and dirty deals, and they're focused on partnerships that he made or has. Now, I do remember a couple of readings ago, I did say when the phone transcript came out, I did say that I really got strong energy impressions of Russia and Saudi Arabia. Do not be surprised if a little bit of that comes out, if there's some sort of a leak or some information coming forward about those conversations and those interactions, because an awful lot of stuff certainly did appear to get put into that top secret security server. So that's kind of where they're going right now. They are not going to get screwed this time. They are very, very focused. They feel like there's a lot of hard work in front of them, but they are focused. They are keeping themselves mindful of what is going to get the story across and what is going to tell the story in the best possible way. That is their focus. It's going to happen fast. I mean, I know that tomorrow would have been soon enough, but in terms of how governments move and how these sorts of things move forward, this is like impeachment on steroids. Okay, this thing is moving crazy, crazy fast. And part of that is because momentum is building, and part of that is what he has done is so egregious. And part of it is because they really do need to keep striking while the iron is hot. And they've learned that lesson, and they're not going to make the same mistake twice. A lot of speed, a lot of new communications, a lot of new information's coming out, and they're well aware. They are well aware that the world is watching, and they're also very mindful of the fact that they are trying to salvage the United States' reputation, because they recognize on some level, or probably on a bunch of levels, that if they don't take some sort of aggressive action to slow this process down, to stop this president, to bring him into line, they're going to lose a lot of credibility around the world, because people are going to say, for God's sakes, what more did you need in order to get this guy out of office? Like how high does the level of corruption have to be? So, hang on. Sorry. Okay, so as I was saying, they're aware of the fact that there really does need to be some restoration of their reputation internationally, globally. Okay, the next thing I want to look into is I want to take a quick look at how Trump is doing, because the supportive impeachment polls are starting to come out, and they're looking good if you want to go forward with impeachment. There was a poll I saw, and I'm probably not going to get this quite right, but there was a poll I saw, I think yesterday, and it was talking about the number of people who were either not surprised or, really, really not surprised. I think it was somewhat surprised or really not surprised that Trump had behaved in this kind of a manner. And it was something like 83% of people who absolutely felt that, this is completely something that Trump would do. And frankly, they weren't even surprised about it, given his character and behavior. So let's take a look at Trump, shall we? How's Trump doing? How's Trump doing? How is Trump doing? Okay, he's starting to get scared now, all right? He's starting, in his limited kind of juvenile way, to understand that actually this isn't looking so good for him. And because it's not looking so good for him, he's got a lot of communication out there. He's spouting a lot of stuff. He's tweeting like an idiot. He's making these long rambling, no nonsensical like speeches wherever he goes, on tarmacs, in front of the helicopter, wherever. He's got his people, the Stephen Kings of the world, out there saying really dumb stuff. And he's actually starting to actually get really scared that the government is actually coming after him. It has finally penetrated. He's finally understanding, with at least a little bit of clarity, that things aren't looking good. This may not be something that he can spin his way out of, but do not think that that means that he's not going to try his level best. He is going to do everything he can to get people angry and whipped up and really push that divisiveness. It is not some sort of a mystery why he is hearkening back to the Clintons and Hillary Clinton and this whole trying to make Ukraine seem like the dirty player, not Russia. I mean, that's sort of their strategy at this point, because the reality is they cannot actually defend his actions. They can't sit there and say, no, this is absolutely normal. This is how governments typically respond and react. That's just not how it works. So there definitely needs to be a little bit of, they're trying to push back. They're trying to walk away from it. They're trying to divert. It's not working. Emotionally, he is angry. He is ranting. He is venting. He, doesn't care at this point who he throws under the bus. And don't be surprised if there aren't a few more names of people that get tossed under the bus. So kind of there's that going on, and that's a bit of, there he is, and he's worried and he's stressed, and he's not getting the support from the GOP that he thinks he should. And this is really interesting, because the more he lashes out, the more he says stuff that ends up really annoying even people of the GOP. Yesterday, he said something about, he was in a war over this. And there was a Republican, I think House Representative, who sent out a message basically saying, I have been in a war. This isn't a war. And the fact that you're calling this a war, I think he used, it was a stronger word than disgusting. Reprehensible, I think, maybe. So there's starting to be some more cracks, which is exactly what we're expecting out of the GOP. And more importantly, again, you're noticing that the senators are quiet. They're not defending him at all, except, for the Jim Jordans and them. And we don't even need to pay attention to their nonsense. So that's interesting. Oh, and also another, I think it's House Rep from Texas has announced the sudden need to retire this morning. Okay. Let's take a look at Barr. Because he's kind of been quiet in all this, and he's not a stupid man. I mean, that's something we have to kind of remember. His actions are stupid, they're unscrupulous, and they're probably illegal. But he is not a stupid man. And so he's perfectly capable of reading the writing on the wall here and figuring out that, oh, you know what, I actually might be in a fair amount of trouble here. So let's take a look at that. So tell me about Bill Barr. Tell me about Bill Barr. Tell me about Bill Barr. Okay, so from this, it definitely looks like he's doing some assessing. He's trying to figure out where he's going. He's looking at strategies. He's looking at options. Because he sees that he really does recognize and see that his Justice Department under him has been badly damaged. He made a decision to be Trump's Ray Cohn, and that didn't work out so well. So He's definitely looking at being in trouble. He can't quite at this point figure out a way to justify what he has done or the actions he has taken. And people are getting very clever at recognizing that he is a master twister, okay? So things like, well, you know, the whistleblower's report or that information was referred to the FBI and they decided there was no criminal wrongdoing. Of course, it wasn't a criminal act. It was a high crimes and misdemeanors act. So he twists, right? And he's starting to realize that his ability to twist is not, it's not doing so well. Okay. It's not going to serve him well. He really is he's another one that's going to get thrown under the bus, and he is not going to be able to repair this or fix his reputation. Trump, okay, Trump is not going to protect him in any way, shape, or form. I understand. Trump is going to tear down the entire government if he has to in order to protect himself. And don't worry, because he will not be able to tear down the entire government. He's going to probably give it a good try. But I don't actually see him really being able to... because there's too many eyes on him now. There's too many people watching, and the focus is too sharp. I want to take a look at, I want to do Fox News right now, because that Chris Wallace guy on Fox News has been really pushing back on some of the Trump talking heads. I mean, he tore a strip off of Stephen King on the morning show yesterday, so that was kind of entertaining. And there's another newscaster whose name I can't remember. I'm sorry, but anyways, he's another one who is like, you know, stringing the straight goods. He's like saying, you know what, they're telling you this, that is not true, that is a lie, that is a falsehood. And so it's interesting to see kind of what's going on there. So let's take a quick look at Fox News and their continuing support of Trump. So Fox and Trump, Fox and Trump, Fox and Trump. Okay, so he was their shining star, right? He was what was bringing in the money. He was what was bringing in the viewers. You got to understand, Fox is about business. It's not about I like you best and you're my best buddy, and so we're going to do everything we can to support you. That isn't how Fox makes their decisions. It was about he's the rising star. He's what's generating all of the attention. He's what's, you know, the focus is. So we're going to put our eggs in the Trump basket. And they held on to that, and they held on to that. But even they are starting to realize this is a sinking ship, and they really do kind of need to get to a place where they start protecting their own reputations from really sort of being seen as a purveyor of fake news, of you know, people who just lie and lie and lie. Now, they're talking heads, the Hannitys and the Laura Ingalls and whoever, that Tucker Carlson guy, they're still going to keep yakking, although behind the scenes, even they are actually quite concerned. They're quite concerned about the fact that this thing is rolling forward with the speed it is, and they're quite concerned about all of the secrets coming out, and there are a good number of them. That partnership between Trump and Fox is about to undergo some significant cracks. Okay, and I don't know if a poll has come out recently that Fox News has done in terms of the impeachment and what people think of it, but it's not going to be good news for Trump, as Fox polls sort of never are. Okay, so we've got just kind of a lot going on here with Fox. They're making some decisions, and it's not going to be a sudden jarring rip. It's going to be more subtle than that, more careful than that. And but you're going to start noticing it. Now, I know, like me, most of you do not pay attention to Fox News. It hurts our brain cells, and so we try to avoid it whenever possible. But you know, the other channels, MSNBC and CNN, are very good about kind of acknowledging when Fox does something incredibly stupid, or you know, I guess that's actually fair and honest. Okay, so that's the story with Trump. Okay, so watch out for a little bit of a breakdown in the relationship between Trump and Fox News. All right, let's take a look quickly. I'm going to join the two. Let's look at Mulvaney and Pompeo. You know, they are high-ranking members of his administration, and both of them have been caught literally, you know, not only with their pants down, but with their hand in the cookie jars. So, you know, Pompeo's annoyed and upset because Giuliani keeps trying to blame all of this on the State Department, say this, he was under the State Department's, you know, request is what, you know, and Mulvaney is getting in trouble because, you know, it was considered that he was caught flat-footed and not having a response to the whole, you know, phone conversation, the memo of the phone conversations, the whistleblowers report, etc. So they're kind of both in a little bit of trouble with Trump right now, and of course he's going to blame whoever and whatever he can on anybody else because he, you know, he wants to make sure that, you know, he's in the clear. Okay, so let's take a look. Pompeo and Mulvaney, Pompeo and Mulvaney, Pompeo and Mulvaney. Yeah, okay, at this point, they're just trying to hang on. They're really aware of the fact that their actions in support of Trump, actions that frankly they knew better or certainly should have known better, are not going to be well received. And they're kind of scared of more of that information coming out because there's so much that we don't know. And they're really scared because justice is coming for them. I would not be surprised if going forward you might see sort of threats of impeachment against some people in his administration and a couple more resignations. Now, I don't think right away we're going to see resignations of either Mulvaney, Pompeo, or Barr. They're going to hang in there. They're going to hold on as tight as they can, as long as they can. But at some point, even they are going to recognize that either they break ties with him or he throws them under the bus. So it's going to be a very, very interesting period of time going forward because there's just kind of a crazy lot of stuff going on. And it's only going to intensify. It's only going to get more quick. You know, more stuff coming out in a flood of gush of information. The United States is going to get through this. There are going to be a lot of things that as a result of this get corrected, get refined, get tightened down, because the valuable lesson that the United States is learning right now is that two things. One, there's always going to actually be somebody who really, really pushes the boundaries because they don't care about traditions and norms. And they're realizing now that that needs to be actually turned into law. There actually need to be laws governing some of this stuff because norms and traditions is not strong enough. It is not a firm enough defense against somebody with these behaviors and attitudes. Okay, so tomorrow is October, and it's October 1st, and I'm thinking we are going to be in for an even more interesting October than we were in for September. So, continuing to breathe deep, walk out in the sunshine a little bit, clear your heads, and don't stop paying attention. This is it. This is crunch time. This is what you've been waiting for. This is when you guys really, really start getting proactive and start pushing forward in a real and meaningful way. So, thank you so much to all of my subscribers and, my viewers and the thumbs up. I love all of it. I appreciate all of it so much. If you're interested in a private reading, that little box will give you some information on how to reach out to me to do that. And the private donations are just, I just cannot tell you how much they just literally warm my heart. So I thank you for all of the support that you have given Soulprint over the months. And I hope that you continue to do so. Until next time, take care, be well, and we'll see you really soon. Bye-bye.